Hello and welcome back to Realm of Thrones, and we're here attempting to take CRASTER Castle. This is actually just on the border between the wall and the rest of Westeros, I suppose you could say. But yes, apart from the fact that we are now actually going to be heading in with ladders only. Wow, this guy is absolutely murdering me. Yeah, that is to be expected though, of course. These guys are actually pretty good at what they do, as you can quite clearly tell. They're actually not bad. I kind of want to jump out here, but I kind of realized now that my strong legs are actually not as amazing as they used to be. I'm actually not entirely sure whether they've been reduced in effectiveness or something like that, but from what I can tell, I'm taking full damage. Every single time. I'm taking full damage. I don't know why that is. Not sure if it's a bug or something like that, but it feels to me pretty awful. Feels pretty awful, actually. So, I'm not entirely sure what's happening with it, but I can only hope that maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm thinking that it's actually providing less protection than it used to, and maybe it's just some kind of weird, in my own head kind of deal, rather than it actually being the truth. Because if it is the truth, then I am in a bad situation indeed, because that means that I've taken strong legs, and while I absolutely love it, I mostly loved it for the fall damage reduction. But if it doesn't provide me with any damage reduction, well, then I'm obviously going to be in a bit of a spot of bother, aren't I? Anyway, let me see if I can do some damage with my thrown weapons here. I'd like to try and get a little bit of experience, and actually not too bad, not too bad. Actually getting some pretty decent kills. I feel like the hitboxes of some of these shields are way too large, but maybe that's just me. And yeah, as you can see, my giants are just murdering everything. And if we just speed things up a little bit here, you can see just how true that is. Obviously, if I want to survive, then I need to be a little bit careful here. As you can see, personally, strong legs, in my opinion, should have made us not take any damage there. That kind of makes me question whether it's actually working for me. Because I know, if you saw my short that I created out of the one of the previous episodes, if you saw that, then you'll know that we took, well, I mean, if you saw the episode as well that it was from, but generally, I was highlighting that part where I jump off the wall. I don't even jump off the wall, I kind of like fall off the wall more like, because jumping would obviously, increase the damage that I would take. But whatever the case, I fall off the wall, I have about 50% HP, something like that, and it feels like I shouldn't have taken as much damage as I did, but that's obviously just me, I personally think I shouldn't have taken that much damage, but I don't know. But now, for example, you saw me right there, I jumped off, and I took 5 damage. And now 5 damage obviously is not that big a deal in the grand scheme of things. 5 damage is basically nothing. However, if you think about that, and you think about the fact that I have strong legs, imagine I would have taken 10 damage from such a small drop. Not sure what's going on with that, to be honest. Really not sure what's going on with that. Anyway, we're just going to be leaving here. Oh yeah, a bunch of people have been talking about how I should be taking prisoners. Alright, so here's the thing with prisoners, okay? The main reason why I wouldn't be taking prisoners is purely for the fact that it's just going to take me a long time to be able to recruit them. That's pretty much it. There is no other reason why, because obviously improved garrison is not something that I have installed at the moment, which obviously makes a pretty significant difference in, well, every single aspect. Improved garrison is fantastic. It has auto recruit of prisoners. It has the ability to garrison automatically over time. It really has everything that you could possibly want within it, to customize your experience just that much further. And obviously, for me personally, I think it's great. But as I say, me taking prisoners right now, I mean, I've got a bunch here, and giants do actually get converted, by the way. I think someone actually said that they don't, but they do. We've seen it happen before. It just takes a very long time for them to join your army. So it is going to take me a little bit of extra time to get them. But I can't really do much about that. I just kind of have to deal with things. I'm going to give CRASTER's Keep to Hodor here, because he is pretty much desperately, even though I have given him 500,000. I've given him 500,000 in gold, so I was very much hoping that he would be able to utilize that to a rather wonderful degree, but as it stands right now, it feels to me like we're still by ourselves, which is very, very sad indeed. And CRASTER's keep is now being besieged by the free houses, as you might expect. I mean, I can't really do much about that. If they do take it, then that's absolutely fine. You know, that's okay, because I'm obviously getting some more giants. I need to restore my forces. You know, they're going to get back on their feet in no time at all. But I'm just going to wait for about 12 hours here, and then we're just going to have a quick look see at my perks here. Ooh, nice. Okay, we actually did get Mighty Blow, so that's really nice. And we are also now getting a significant HP increase, and that is going to make all the difference in the world to how much survivability we are going to have in the future when we go into these various situations like a siege or an outnumbered battle or something like that, and we can actually do something quite you know, quite useful, instead of basically having to stay back and being careful and so on and so forth. But anyway, we're going to go back to the Fist of the First Men, because obviously I don't want that to get taken. That is Lorne's connected castle, so I'd very much like to prevent that from getting taken if I can. But I don't think there are that many people. Oh, there's actually 276 in the garrison there. Oh, that's interesting. Hello there, sir. Oh, you are making a huge error, sir. This is not good for you one bit. Alright, this is going to be fun. Let's see what we can do here. Baron's army. Let's do it. Alright, here we go. Let us take him down. And it's actually been some time since we've gone into an actual field battle, isn't it? Usually what we're doing is we're doing sieges, and then we're, well, inevitably entering this kind of battlefield where it is indeed a valley. No, I'm not a big fan of the valley battlefield. We've done it multiple times now, and, well, suffice it to say, I'm getting a little bit tired of it. I am getting a little bit tired of it. I would much prefer to be on a larger scope battlefield, because as it stands right now, it's one of these. It's one of these where I basically just stand here, allow my forces to engage the enemy. I'm just going to see what we can do. Just going to let them move along. As you can see, my giants are... Wow, Jaime Lannister is actually doing a massive amount of damage as well. Really nice to see that. And yeah, it doesn't really give me that many tactical options, which I gotta say I'm kind of disappointed by. That's the reason why I'm mostly wanting a more open battlefield, or a battlefield that actually has a variety of locations. For example, hilltops and trees and, you know, anything else that we could possibly want. And where are the, oh, they're the enemy. Okay, that's very... Okay, that's a that's a very weird place to be, in my opinion. I don't know why they would be there. We don't really have that much in the way of cavalry, but I suppose they are... I suppose they're just kind of scared. I guess they're just kind of scared, which is absolutely fine. You know, I would be as well if I was up against an army that had a massive population of giants in almost every single aspect. Okay, so let me see if I can actually do something here. This is going to be a bit problematic, because obviously if I do get stopped and my horse does get killed, I will probably die. So let's try and not have that happen, but you never know. Some things happen when you don't mean them to, of course. Sometimes you just have no control over it, but yeah, my forces are just steamrolling, as you might expect. They just, that's the thing, these fellows stand in the wrong formation, in my opinion. They're standing in a formation that is designed to counter enemy cavalry, whereas, well, countering giants? No, this is not how you counter giants. You counter giants with a significant archer force that is capable of skirmishing. Obviously, if you have a bunch of crossbowmen, it's going to be very unlikely that you're going to be able to skirmish that easily. It's going to be much easier to skirmish with archery, because they are just faster, easier to use, reload, and so on and so forth. But if you have a bunch of crossbowmen, then I guess you're just going to have to put your infantry in the front, and you're just going to have to bite the bullet when the giants inevitably charge towards you. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all you need to do to counter giants, although, to be fair, we do have a lot of them, don't we? Yes, we do have a very large amount of them, so I suppose I shouldn't really be you know, shouldn't judge them too harshly for their weird decision making, but that's the thing. If you're going to go up against a bunch of giants, just don't stand in an anti-cavalry formation. I don't even know why they do that. Maybe they were worried about my own cavalry or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, we're just going to take a bunch of these guys prisoner, and we're just going to take them down. Just going to, you know, execute them as you might expect. And that's the thing. Someone actually did mention maybe what we should do is we should let those guys go. We should try to appease the free houses so that they potentially join us, and then we can, well, increase our overall forces. And actually, that sounds like a great idea, but I think the main problem is that I highly doubt they're actually going to want to join us, no matter what. So whether I leave, you know, whether I let them go or whether I don't and just leave them alone, it feels to me like I'm probably not going to get a good resolution here. Most of these people, as you can see, are minus 100 relation with us, and it's highly unlikely that we're going to be able to get anything out of them. So I'm just going to continue the executing spree here, and what I'm actually hoping to do is I'm hoping that maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to come across a couple of other companions. I know Tyrion is out there somewhere, and I'm actually going to have a look at the companion list in just a second, because obviously Tyrion would make an amazing vassal in my opinion. I think Willem Lannister would actually make a really good, you know, party leader. But the problem is he's the governor at the moment. Not sure. We could make him into a vassal technically. And we have a giant here that can actually join our party, which is wonderful. And yes, so otherwise, let's just go back to CRASTER's Keep real fast. Just want to take that, and then we'll go to Frostfang's camp, and then we'll see what's going on there. Now, apart from that, we also need to figure out if we can actually make it to those places in time. What actually happened here? Hodor's party is defending Antler Village. Hodor has been... Oh my, Hodor, what are you doing, sir? I have no idea what he is doing. Okay, that is a very amusing situation, isn't it? You know, that's actually one of the main reasons why I was contemplating not making any vassals, because when you see this kind of situation, you kind of think, well, what was the point in that? You know what I mean? What was the point in me actually making him into a vassal and spending the money and the influence and all that stuff? I mean, obviously, those things really don't mean much to me at the moment because, you know, especially money. We have a lot of that right now, you know, over 2 million, 3 million or something like that. Not entirely sure how much, but yeah, we got a lot of that, and obviously we do have a significant amount of influence as well. Nothing too, you know, I mean, it's pretty easy to get, you know what I mean? Right now, influence is pretty easy to get. However, he's just not being that useful. He's just not being that useful, which is really sad. It's really sad, because I'd love for him to actually contribute in a meaningful fashion, because that's kind of what I like to do. I like to work with my teammates or my vassals or whoever. I like to work with them in a cooperative fashion to try and overcome the various challenges that we're going to face together. Unfortunately, he seems to not be up to the task, which is a bit weird considering, but oh well. I mean, I did see him running around randomly, standing at a village, not really doing anything, so I assume it is an AI problem, and it could just possibly be because we are playing on 1.8 rather than playing on the full version. Obviously, there is an update to the mod. I do realize this, and I think it is now out. I think it is now publicly available. I'm not entirely sure. I think it is now out, but whatever the case, that is now updated to the final version, or not final version, but the full release version of the game. And what? Oh, okay. Right. Well, that's not meant to happen. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually the second time that has happened, where I have phased through some form of stairs. I'm not entirely sure how that even happens, to be honest. Oh, can I replicate this? Oh, okay. Well, yes. I hope they fix this in the full version. I really hope that they fix this. Yeah, I hope they have already fixed it, that is. Because imagine going in here and being like, oh yes, I'm just going to go in here and kill all the archers, guys. No, I'm not going to go in there and kill all the archers because I'm getting absolutely murdered by the geometry of the environment. Yes. Right. I can't actually move, by the way. There's nothing I can do. I am pressing space, can't jump, can't move back, can't move forward, can't move to the left, can't move to the right. I can try attacking. That's not really going to work either, I don't think. Can try blocking. No, that's also not going to work. I'm surprised that my... Oh, there we go. I actually used the momentum of the vroom vroom to get myself out of it. Oh, that's hilarious. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't be able to get out of it at all. Let me actually just see whether I can get myself in that again, because I want to see whether I can replicate the problem. There is a problem on these steps. Look at that. Do you see that? It's almost as though it wants me to go higher, and there's a huge amount of invisible platforms on this particular staircase, and that was what I was falling through. I assume that is what has happened. Okay, well, that's good to know at the very least. I have it on camera, so, you know, anyone from the dev team, they can see what's going on with that. I don't think that's a mod problem, by the way. I think that is most likely a Bannerlord issue, so hopefully we're gonna see a fix to that in the full version. Obviously, I have no idea. You know, I have no idea, but yeah. Hopefully there is going to be something going on with that. Otherwise, let's go into the garrison here. I'm just going to place a bunch in there, I think. I'm just going to place these guys in here. Should I place them in here, actually? You know what? Wait a minute. I'm going to just take the highest level troops, and then we'll just leave the rest in there, because we need to leave a skeleton crew there, I think. Skeleton crew is probably going to be good enough to deal with any defense, at least at the moment. I mean, there's only 18 there, which is kind of unfortunate, but let me just wait here for a little bit of time. Wow, there's a massive amount of people here. Can we actually attack them? No. Yeah, so Hodor is obviously in a really, really bad position right now. I'm not entirely sure where we can even find him. It's going to be a difficult place. I don't even know whether I should even give it to him, to be honest, because giving it to him doesn't really do anything at the moment. I mean, that's the point. I've given him, as I said to you before, I've given him 500,000. I was very much hoping that 500,000 would be easily enough to be able to kind of tide him over until we were able to do something together, I guess, and then he could just recruit as many units as he wanted to, and it would be a wonderful time had by all. But no, he did get himself taken prisoner, which is really pretty awful, considering the fact that I don't think I'm actually going to be able to catch up with these people that easily. So I guess I'm just going to wait here for a little bit of time, and then we're going to move on. Yeah, peace agreement with these guys. No, not going to do that. There is a siege going on at Hornfoot. I would like to be able to get over there and stop them. See, now this is the main problem with actually going up against so many factions. I mean, especially the North. The North is obviously a big, big issue here, as you can quite clearly tell. Look at that massive army. He has 1,500 units. Yeah, that's really, really dangerous. Can I actually fight this guy? Please don't get me in battle with the... Oh, okay. Never mind, never mind. Okay, let me just run. I don't want to get into the battle with the 1,500. I don't mind going against the 600. I think we can probably deal with them. But the 15... Oh! Hello! I disrupted them so much that now they have disbanded. Okay, hello. Let's do this. Alright. Oh, yeah. This is what we like. Alright, here we go. So this is not too bad. I would say that, yeah, this is looking all right. This is not looking awful. You know, not like it would have been if we went into a battle with 600 plus 1,500 or something like that. That would have been incredible. Way too much. But let's see what happens. This is not a good this is not a good battlefield. I mean, literally, I'm happy that it's not the valley. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy that it's not the valley, because, let's face it, going on the valley battlefield again would be rather tiresome. But The problem with this is that it's literally a flat plane where people can literally just shoot from all the way across the map, and they can pretty much just murder my giants really easily because of their hitboxes. But yeah, this is obviously going to be a bit of a problem. Grand scheme of things, yeah, might have some issues, but I'm going to try and do as much damage as possible to the surrounding cavalry units. They have a pretty large amount of cavalry, surprisingly enough. Wouldn't have expected them to have so many, but they apparently do. And these fellows are not terrible either. They're actually running around with northern mounted warlords and House Mormont elite mounted huntresses and all this crazy stuff. No idea how powerful they are. They seem to die just as much as any other unit, but I think they're probably going to be pretty good in terms of their damage. As you can see, I'm taking some pretty significant hits right here too. So I should be a little bit careful. My forces seem to be doing alright, but obviously this is very much a preliminary result because there's still many units to go through yet. Okay, let me just try and eliminate these guys as much as I can. I'm just trying to focus on the archers. Just going to run along the archery line as well. Hopefully that's going to make a pretty big difference. And we can hopefully interrupt some of their shots. There we go. Not too bad. Massive amounts of damage being done by our horse, actually, surprisingly enough. And maybe, just maybe, my giants can now start to catch up. Yes, it seems like they are actually catching up. That's great. Also, by the way, you know how whenever you charge through an enemy, they actually partially lose their defensiveness, at least for that split second that you're hitting them. And so as a result, I'm more easily capable of being able to deal damage. So obviously that's really nice. And hopefully that's going to see us winning this. I have no idea who's actually even in this battle, vassal-wise. So it's obviously going to be a bit of a surprise when we actually get to take some of them prisoner and inevitably execute them. Actually surprised, oh well, shall we say, I'm actually gonna be surprised if we get any people whatsoever wanting to join my faction, because let's face it, we're kind of the most hated person in the entirety of Westeros and Essos combined. What do you bet? What do you bet that is indeed the case? I think it probably is. But yeah, as you can see, we can do some damage. We can do some damage, but they're actually going to be leaving the battlefield in just a second. Their morale has just plummeted hugely thanks to the amount of giants just dealing so much damage in quick succession. Don't really have to worry about that at all, which is really nice. Oh yeah, by the way, someone said that because I have all giants, obviously they're going to be causing a lot of unconsciousness and wounds and things. They're not actually going to be killing enemies as much as you would potentially want. For example, have a look here. As you can see, we have basically done 351 wounded and 6 kills. So only 6 kills. However, if you think about it this way, as long as it's not a siege, you actually do reduce their overall combat strength, because these units will just go nowhere, they will disappear, and everything will be great. So that's basically how I'm looking at it, as long as it's not a siege, as I said. Oh, hello, Mr. Stark. Oh, hello there. All right, well, you know what's going to happen to him, don't you? Yes, unfortunately, anyone that's a Stark fan, I'm very sorry. I will be eliminating him in just a second, as is supposed to be done. You know, this needs to be done. Otherwise, well, we're going to have some pretty big problems. Anyway, I'm just going to get rid of these guys real fast. I need to make sure that I have enough food, obviously. So we're just going to take a little bit more there. And then we're just going to take all these horses, because you never know. Maybe they're going to be kind of useful. Do I have herd deficit? No, I'm actually okay in that regard. And now we can just move on. The problem... Oh, no. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Right. Okay, it's not as many as I thought. Okay, not as many as I thought. I think we should be fine. What I should have done, okay, and now this is the point here. What I should have done immediately was go into the party screen and just completely execute everyone, because they're the reason that I'm actually moving slower. Prisoners make your party move slower by a pretty significant margin, enough that all of these units would have easily been able to catch us up. So that's exactly what happened. Unfortunate. Oh well, never mind. At least I can do some more damage here. Hopefully we're going to be fine. Once again, I'm just going to charge. I'm going to be hyper aggressive here most of the time, because I know that in the past couple of battles, I have been doing charges, but before that I was being very strategic, very defensive, very passive, in fact. And in my opinion, when we need to take the initiative, when we need to force the opponent back, we need to make it so that we send a message to them. We need to basically be like, hey, you should probably listen to what's going on here, and then bonk them over the head with the mace. That's exactly how we do it. That is exactly how we do it. So that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm trying. Because if we can eliminate a huge amount of them in a short space of time, that is going to deal so much morale damage. And the morale is then going to cause them to retreat, which inevitably causes us to achieve victory. And that's the reason why we're doing that. So that's the reason why, you know, aggression sometimes is actually a much better idea than you might imagine, you know? Especially in these kinds of situations when you're outnumbered. Sometimes it's a great idea. If you think you're going to lose, like for example, if you think you're going to lose, or you think you're going to be having a really, really close run battle, then by all means, play as defensively as you want. But in my situation, where I have a pretty unique army, where, you know, running around with a bunch of giants, we're pretty much maybe the strongest that we possibly could be. I don't know. I think in general, if you have a bunch of noble units, I think you'd maybe be better than the giants potentially. Like for example, these House Mormont elite mounted huntresses. In my opinion, if you had a whole army of these, you'd probably just murder everyone, to be honest. But I don't. I don't have, you know, a whole army of these. So obviously that's not really going to affect me that much. But the point is, if you do have something that, you know, if you do have a composition where you can kind of rely on them to deal the damage that you think you're going to need to deal to be able to inflict that morale damage, then be aggressive as you want. Oh yeah, be aggressive. Take the initiative when it comes to that particular fight, and then see what happens. See whether you can actually push the enemy back. You can see here, the enemy has made some pretty grievous errors here as well, because I don't know whether you've noticed, but a lot of their horses are right in the center here. I mean, look at them. These horses are all our enemy's horses. They're all standing there, just, well, you know, they just ran into our forces, basically. They ran straight forward into our people, and because they are giants, of course, with massive hitboxes, they were stopped almost immediately. And now look what's happened. Now they're running. Now they're running. And how many people are actually running, you ask? 250. You see what I mean by, you know, actually taking advantage of morale damage. It's really quite a significant strategy. Obviously, do bear in mind, sometimes they are going to turn around. Sometimes they are going to do that. And in which case, then you just got to bonk them again. A little bit of mace to the face. Never hurt anyone. Except that one guy. Indeed. And many, many other people in this particular battle. But yes, anyway, I believe that is indeed a victory for us. And I don't know, I'm not sure whether we would have, I don't know. That's the thing. I feel like being aggressive is actually providing us with a much greater chance of success, surprisingly enough. Because in the last fights, you remember the fights that I had at the very beginning of our rebellion. Those fights where we were outnumbered, for, 1,200 or something. 1,200 to, what was it? 200, I think? Yeah, I think that might also be the reason, because I have a much larger army now, so that might actually make sense too, because I have 100 extra units, so that might actually make all the sense in the world. That might be the reason why we're actually seeing more success in general, because then we don't have such a significant numbers disadvantage. You know, that might actually be the thing that is causing us to win just that much easier. But, well, I digress. It is wonderful to see that we have been able to achieve victory here. And this just furthers our agenda. It just furthers our agenda where we are now able to move on. And I have way too much grain. And I'm just going to take all this. There we go. Just want to make sure no herd deficit. Okay, that's absolutely fine. Now, I am 100% certain that what we're going to have happen is we are going to have these fellows run away now. I'm going to assume that they're going to run away. Let me actually just do a little bit of executing right here. And I'm actually going to be surprised to see what actually happens here. I'm not entirely sure how large the North actually is in regards to how many vassals they have. So I'm going to take a look at that after this too. And at the same time, I'm going to look at the amount of companions that are available to us. Because obviously, I want to try and get some companions to hopefully fill out the vassal roles. Because at the moment, I have, well, one person. And you know him. And you know how kind of... well, not useless, but I'm going to say not the most useful fellow ever, is he? I mean, he's not right now, at the very least. Maybe at some point in the future when he gets a little bit of, a little bit extra steward skill or something like that. Maybe then, but as it stands right now, no, not so much, unfortunately. Anyway, there we go. Every single person has now been executed, which is perfect. And now, let me take a look. Let me take a look and see exactly what's happening with the North here. So you can see they still have a significant amount of strength. And amusingly enough, they still want me to pay 3,900, which is to be expected, of course. I would receive 2,300 from the free folk, but it really doesn't matter to me either way, because these guys literally have nothing left, and I can just freely run around and do whatever I want, which is great, obviously. But now, let's just very quickly have a look here. The North. There we go, the North, and we're just going to have a look-see at what kind of clans are available here. Wait a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the Reed clan, I don't think she's actually a combat vassal. I don't think she's a combat vassal at all. Okay, so there's that. She's a combat vassal. Yep, she is a combat vassal, so we have one so far. This guy, that's two. That is, I don't think she's a combat vassal. Nope, she's not combat either. So there's just two, and then this guy is combat, so that's three. Yeah, that's four. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's literally just four? Really? Really? Okay, four. And then we have five. And 6, she's also a combat vassal. 7, he's a combat vassal. Wow, okay, 7, 8, there we go. Okay, so that's 8. And then we have everyone here, so let's just see, 8, like 12, 13 maybe, 12, 13 maybe, something like that. And then we also have her, she's a non-combat vassal. And then we have this last one, which is indeed a non-combat vassal. So we have about 12 enemy vassals remaining. And that is individual units. That's not clans, that's not nothing. That's just literally 12 to 13 of them. And we really don't have to worry about that, in my opinion. I think that that is going to be a perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable, vassal population that we have to deal with. And it's going to be easy for me to take back Hornfoot. I will do that off screen, and we're probably going to be fighting these guys as well. But otherwise, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.